Hello, everyone. My name is Jack Ananchenko. As usual, I'm a CTO and a co-founder at Stellarsoft. For today's show, I'm joined by Natalia Goncharenko, Chief Commercial Officer at Amasty, one of the most recognized and well-known solution providers in the Magento and Shopify ecospaces. Um, Amasty has built a strong reputation through product innovation, partner networks, and custom development services. Natalia, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jack, for inviting. Hi, everyone.
Cool. Natalia, first thing first, you've been with Amasty for, as far as I remember, over 7 years now, moving from business development to commercial leadership. How has your perspective changed across these roles?
Oh, well, I would say it was drastic. I mean, it's looking from a different angle. You see, like 20% of the universe when you're smaller, then you grow and you see more and more, and you realize that there's still even more to see. So I'd say it was a drastic change. Luckily, it was gradual, so it wasn't overwhelming. But yeah, I would say that commercial leadership is basically the way you perceive the company as an overall, and the way you perceive the market as an overall, while being in business development, it was mostly about a selected group of customers. So you concentrate more, but well, I would say that still it's not like you're losing some information. It's more about having more to consider when you grow, basically.
Absolutely. What does actually commercial leadership mean in the contact company like Amasty?
I would say it's everything about customers. It's about their way of cooperating with us. So basically, it's everything from their first touch with Amasty through marketing, through Google searches, through all the way across our website, which is basically built to make our customers comfortable while choosing their solutions, because there's a lot to choose, there's a lot to consider, and it's our goal to make the entire path more transparent and less confusing. And then, of course, it's everything about the customers after their purchase. Our aim is to make our customers happy, of course, and to do that, we need to establish strong relationships. We need to have strong staff to support our customers through their entire path with Magento. So, commercial leadership is about the entire lifetime of a customer with Amasty.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'm not sure if everyone knows about it. I mean, I think everyone knows about Amasty in general, like your extensions, and you've been there for a while now. But then maybe not everyone knows that you guys are not only in the product sphere, but you're also in the services sphere and the partner network. What makes your model different?
I would say that Amasty is not just a provider, it's an ecosystem. Basically, when a customer enters the ecosystem, we provide all aspects of their well-being in Magento. As you said, that is extensions, of course, because while Magento is a strong tool, it still needs some twitches, and it's like the easiest and most cost-effective way to do those switches through the extensions. Then, of course, that's the services, because some customers have partnerships with companies who help them with Magento. Others don't.
Hmm.
Some companies have partnerships, but they still need support. And it might be confusing because Magento is not the simplest platform out there. Yeah, basically, we provide everything to the customers to make sure that their journey is simple, it's not overwhelming, it's not too costly, it's not risky, etc. And of course, as you said, that's about partnerships and customer loyalty. Because if you are a customer, you want to have some perks along the way. If you are an agency doing business with a company like ours, you want to be sure that you have all support possible, all financial, all like managerial, all service-wise advantages possible.
Advantages, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
basically. So our ecosystem is about all customers, all customer groups, and their interests in Magento sphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're also in the Shopify ecosystem too,
Yeah.
right? You have recently started. Okay. And to your recent post and like thought process that you listed on LinkedIn about about Shopify dominance and Magento resilience, do you believe this is truly a shift, or is it just a different market maturity stage?
I would say that that's something in between. Because well, obviously Magento is a strong tool that will not go away that easily. Um, it has its own advantages. It has its own ways to attract customers and to retain them. But
Hmm.
Shopify is getting stronger, and more customers prefer Shopify to start off their journey with e-commerce. I wouldn't say that Shopify is there to replace Magento. It's rather another way to enter and to thrive in e-commerce, because I would say that Shopify is aiming at a slightly different customer group, at a slightly different customer types. Um,
Hmm. Hmm. No, just generally types you're saying.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, like to support you and kind of like to follow up with the question about Shopify. Then, like, would you be able to kind of like to highlight from your perspective what the disadvantages are from Shopify and what the advantages are from Magenta?
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, Shopify is about simplicity. I mean, with Shopify, you can start off like within 30 minutes. You just sign up, you create your store, and by pulling some themes, some extensions, etc., you can basically launch your store within a day. And it's a very good thing for startups. It's a very good thing for entrepreneurs who are just kicking off into e-commerce, because
Hmm.
you don't have extensive expenses at the beginning. You don't have to wait months until your store is launched, etc. But there are certain things that Shopify cannot give you as a more mature business. For
Hmm.
instance, if it is important for your company to provide your own hosting, to manage your own infrastructure, unfortunately, Shopify cannot provide that. And scaling wise, customizations wise, and I would even say like growth wise, I would say that Magento is still the leader here, because the opportunities that Magento gives you as a platform to grow and to evolve and basically to improve your performance, I would say that it's still the leader in the sphere.
Okay. Based on what it sounds like, these platforms cannot be even compared. They are rather solving different like problems. Would you agree with that?
Um, Yeah, probably that sounds like truth, because while both these platforms are about e-commerce, uh, they approach their customer from different angles. So when going into e-commerce, you just need to understand exactly what you're starting off with and how you want to evolve. Because, well, of course, there are options for migrations, etc. But if you understand that you have a large business and you are planning to go even larger, perhaps it's better to have more starting investments, but then to like save costs on further maintenance, etc. But if you are a startup, of course, Shopify is everything that e-commerce can give you. I mean, quick start, small investments, small amount of time required to give you first results. So yeah.
Test the idea, like launch MVP as soon as possible, give it a test within the market, the current situation, etc., and then based on that, decide how you want to move forward with, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And to your point about the migration, like if there was a mid-sized brand who approaches you with the question, should I migrate? And I'm specifically not clarifying whether it's from Magento to Shopify or vice versa. It's like a general question to better understand what your thought process would be in terms of guiding through that decision. Like, should I migrate in general?
Well, first thing I would ask that customer would be why you're considering migration. Because the reasoning behind the decision often ticks you off about where to lead the customer. Sometimes the
Hmm.
migration is indeed a good solution. For instance, if we talk about smaller companies who launched on a more sophisticated platform that is not paying off, that is not used to its best capacities, and this customer realizes that they want a smaller online presence with
Hmm.
not that many capacities. Why not? You can always migrate and save on cost later. But if a customer comes to me and says, "Okay, I have problems with performance. I want to
Hmm.
migrate," I would definitely talk to that customer and understand where the performance issues come from, because normally such things are easily fixed within the platform. Because still, migrations are a tricky process, tricky in terms of data loss, tricky in terms of SEO positions, like many things that might affect you later. So it's definitely the decision that needs to be considered from angles. And well, the starting point is the reason behind why you want to migrate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of communication, a lot of discovery has to happen. I mean, obviously, if you've been with the merchant for a while, it might be a little easier for you to understand if there is a history already, like any track record of what's happening in the mindset of the client and why they might be considering the migration. But if it's a new one, like, and he's looking for the right development partner, it's kind of like it's a must to discover and unveil what's actual reasoning behind this request.
Yeah,
So
especially
100% agree with you.
yeah, and especially, well, considering the customers, well, I would say that there's still this hype about hype, right? And some of the customers, I would say lots of them come to us with a question about migration, and when we start digging into their whys, it turns out that they were advised about another platform. They read about another platform. They read it was cool. It was something new,
Hmm.
something fresh, and they want to be atop of that wave. But sometimes it's not worth such actions because, well, if your current platform is giving you everything that you need, why migrate?
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the time, I mean, even we do experience these kind of like questions, and then I mean, obviously, it's not like the majority of the answers, but then we do happen to hear something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm on Magento, but then Shopify is on such a hype. Maybe it's worth migrating." And then whenever you start asking some follow-up questions, there is no real problem. It's just like they are trying to catch the last bit of the train and then jump into it and then make sure that they are basically within the ecosystem. Whereas, as you
Exactly.
said, Magento is still a very strong and robust platform, and then you can continue developing with it. It's just there has to be something very strong behind the reasoning for you to decide, okay, so I want to migrate. I mean, obviously you want to do the redesign. If you want to do the redesign, and there are some financial aspects comparing Magento and Shopify. Like, for instance, Shopify Plus is very expensive, whereas I can go to Magento Community and buy one module for B2B, right? And then obviously financial aspect makes sense, and then replatforming might be a reasoning there, and then we can explore that. But then most of the time it's either hype or like somebody told them, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. One other thing to be considered, as you said, is the financial aspect, because often I would say, customers using the financial aspects as the reason for their migration
Hmm.
still miss the point that migration is not that linear. I mean, like if you migrate, for instance, to Shopify, and you come to an agency say, okay, I'm spending too much on Magento. I want to go to Shopify because it will save me on costs. But then you have the cost for the migration itself. You have the cost for the optimization of your store post migration. You have the costs
Hmm.
for the Shopify itself. You have the costs for the transactions
Hmm.
fees on Shopify, and the sum builds up. And so it's still a good thing to consider that as well from the very beginning, because otherwise that might be a very disappointing surprise after the migration.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to continue on the conversation that we just kind of like quickly touched on, like choosing the right partner, and like how to work, how the merchant should work with the development partners and approach the decision on them. Um, in your opinion, why is choosing the right development partner still such a challenge for merchants?
Well, that's a tricky one. Well, first of all, there are lots and lots of companies offering you one and the same thing. And if you just look at the surface, you hear one and the same reasoning, like, we're the best, we're the most transparent, we are professionals in our area, we have good developers, etc., etc., etc. But the best thing you can do while choosing your partner is actually digging in, because while everyone's offer sounds the same, you still need to understand that this partner that you're choosing now is basically influencing your future. So it's like it's the same thing about like we've just discussed about choosing the platform and forming the decision to migrate. It's still the same thing. It's about research, and you need to understand how actually good is your partner, how long they've been on the market, how happy their customers have been with them, is their experience provable,
Hmm.
are they actually offering the kind of expertise that you're looking for? Because, well, obviously, I can say anything on my website that I'm doing like space shifts, but that doesn't really matter if I can't do that. So choosing a right partner is really a challenge, because you are overwhelmed with the information
Hmm.
you receive while doing your research, and because the decision needs to be based on multiple criteria, and the
Yeah.
decisions is always like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the merchant, like if we step into their shoes and then try to see what their situation is like, they have so many different options. You, as to your point, they have to dig into the details, understand better the offerings, see what the team is behind, etc., etc. But then, is the issue with actually making a decision related to too many options? Is it lack of transparency, something else? What is your take on that?
I would say the issue is really about the number of options, but also the issue is with the depth of the research you need to do, because there are certain things that you can look online and, well, basically shortlist the companies you want to approach, but then there are things that you can not actually do without communicating with the company. Because however many options, however many badges and success stories a company can share on their website, the best way to assess them would be to communicate with them. And the best way to do that would be, of course, to approach that potential partner, tell them about your challenges, and see how they understand those challenges and how they formulate their thought around solving those challenges. So it's really about very much about communication and very much about your own feeling of who would be the best company to solve your challenges. It's like choosing like a life partner.
Indeed, yeah. And then, like, based on what you're saying, does it mean, would you say, like, that you are eventually working with people rather than the company, and then, like, the person who you're talking to at first within the dev partner is like is a very crucial thing. So they basically want to make sure that the people that they talk to are the people that they want to work with long term.
Absolutely. I mean, the company is just the physical address, and
Yeah.
I don't know, the bank number, but your future success or not success relies on people who will communicate with you, people who will actually do tasks for you, people who will listen to you and give you the answers that will help you develop your business. So, yeah, I would say it's like the most crucial thing to find that match with the team that you're going to work with, to make sure that they understand you and you understand them.
Hmm.
They care about your business, they care about your business tasks, and that those people don't just do tasks from the beginning to the end, right? They think
Yeah.
how best to do those tasks to match your business objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, I mean, we obviously understand that there are like best experiences and there are some disappointing experiences, but then it's the way you approach them, right? So, and then
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the people who you work with, when they're like, eventually there is always a chance that something happens, right? But then you want those people to be like fair to you. You want those people to act as a partner to you, and then figure out a solution that will work for all of the parties. Because at the end of the day, like I most of the time I do not prefer saying clients. So I'm more about of a partnership type of thing. But then when you truly treat those merchants and people as your partners, this is where the actual like relationship starts growing, if you will. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Like when we talk to our like clients or partners, put it the way you like. We always say that our aim is to make our team an extension of their team. That means
yeah.
that it's an integral part, and that means that we understand the same things that they do understand, and we have the same objectives that they do, and that's when the match comes.
Yeah, for sure. If we were to summarize, and obviously, like you see this way more than we do, but like if a merchant comes to you with an already established business, but then they've got some disappointing experience with their previous dev partner, uh, do would you be able to kind of like recon any like typical partners they use and you usually see?
Um, Yeah, I think the reasons behind like leaving a current partner and seeking for another one, they're very typical, those reasons. I mean, first of all, that's communication. I mean, you can be a very good developer, but if you cannot communicate with the client, if you cannot convey the advantages and disadvantages of what you're doing, if you cannot understand what the what your partner requires from you, if you cannot communicate your process transparently to your partner, well, alas, that would be like a lost case, because it may start off well, because your expertise will certainly sell you off, but The further the project goes in, the less your partner will be happy with you, because if you cannot provide day-to-day communication, if your partner does not understand what you're doing, when they're getting the results, what the results will be, etc., 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 the frustration will build up, and we all know that the frustration leads to actually like seeking other options.
Absolutely. And to your point about business understanding, how important is it versus technical execution?
Um, Well, I would say that's like a 50-50 proportion, because obviously, if you want to deliver great results, you need to have really good expertise, but you need to be able to communicate that expertise to your partner. So really, it's a very like tight tie between those two aspects.
Hmm.
You obviously need to be very good at what you're doing, but you need
Hmm.
also to be good at communicating what
Hmm.
you're doing and why. So yeah, it's like
Hmm.
50-50.
Like, if we were to talk about collaboration in general, what do you think makes it sustainable long term between the merchant and dev partner?
Well, if we're talking about long term, that's definitely a very good report from the beginning.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously that starts off with soft skills. Even before you reach the stage where you can show off your hard skills, you still need to establish the relationship with your partner. It's really about the relationship, and the aspects of the relationship are, well, still the same. It's transparency, it's being on time, it's being predictable, it's being responsible, and of course things like matching like deadlines, matching budgets, etc., etc. You can look up all those aspects in any book about like IT project development. That's really an axioma. But when it comes to hard skills, that's obviously the level of your mastership with those skills. As I said, you can do tasks from the beginning to the end. That's still doing the tasks. But you can also be more
On top
creative,
of
more
things.
flexible, and because in like many uh, like often there are more than one way to deliver a task. So basically, if you want to work with your partner long term, you need to be able to communicate those options to your partner and show that you're interested in delivering the best like solution, the best business result possible. So, as I said, it's like a cake of many layers, but still the layers are the same. It's transparency, it's good communication, and it's certainly good skill, and your eagerness and readiness to actually think alongside with your partner.
Very good summary. I was about to summarize everything that we've just talked about, choosing the right dev partner for the merchant. But this is a very good summary, and I think this is the right moment for us to move on with to the next very interesting topic, which is AI in e-commerce.
Yeah.
And you've recently shared a lot of good stats about AI in e-commerce on your LinkedIn page. Um, what's the real impact today, and what's still hype?
Um, I would say that impact and hype are still, the two sides of one medal. Um, Basically, AI is hype itself. I mean, even if you still haven't, well, it's hard to imagine someone who still hasn't touched AI. But even if you did not do that before this day, you would still hear about it a lot. You would still have your own like. Ideas of what it looks like, what it can do for you, etc. So that's about hype. But then comes the practical side, and here I think it would be right to say that it changes from day to day, expanding. Because if we had this conversation like a year ago, I would say that, okay, AI is definitely hype. It has certain advantages when it comes to like day to day tasks that it can help you solve faster. But still, it needs, more practical development. Now, I would say that AI is an integral part of what developers and merchants do this day because, obviously, the developers use AI a lot these days because it really helps solving day to day tasks. It's not replacing people, but it's adding extra verification, extra security, extra ideas. It basically adds extra. For the
Okay.
merchants, yeah, for the merchants, AI is a very good assistant in what they're doing daily as well. Because I mean, obviously, you as a merchant work with images, text, you work with pricing, you work with product descriptions, you work with your marketing tasks. Lots and lots of things that used to take a lot of time before can now take a lot less time if you use AI. And if we add to that certain automations based on AI for your shops, I mean that's a game changer because you perform faster, you perform better, you have better insight of the market, and if you know how to use AI, I mean it's like a spy tool because you know everything about your market and you can use that to your own advantage. So definitely that's like a very good helping tool.
Absolutely. And to divide this into two different like streams of AI, let's talk about AI for the merchants and let's talk about AI for the development partners. And to touch on the merchants first, where do you think AI is delivering the measurable ROI? Like for instance, one of the most recent things that I've heard was personalization. So I was at the conference. And then there were a lot of people who were talking about AI and how to make it super personalized, right? So you learn a lot about your customer, and AI helps you structure the way and the avatar of your customer, and then basically understand. Okay, so this is the typical customer who buys jeans or bags or whatever. Now that he's on the website, I would like to restructure my pages and kind of recommend products and try to show him something that would be as relevant to him as possible based on his past experience, or search based on the same thing, or pricing based on his past experience. Or there was one tool, very good one, that I always try to recommend. It's called, I think it's Enable Technology or something. It's basically the chatbot. Everyone is super hyped about chatbots on the website that basically help merchants, consumers navigate through the merchant's website. And then what that tool does is whenever you land on the product detail page, there is a chatbot that appears like 10 seconds after you land on the page. And then what it does is that it tries to negotiate with you towards the lowest price possible, but then eventually you make the consumer place the order. And like there are obviously settings that you cannot, as a chatbot, as the negotiator, you can never ever go lower than this price, but so you can keep the margins that are affordable, etc., etc. But then basically there is a tool out there which does the job instead of your salespeople. So it's like another round or layer of conversions that you can create on the website. So what do you think? Maybe like you can support or add to any of these points where AI can be relevant for the merchants.
Yeah, sure. Well, I would definitely say that AI is very useful in terms of data analysis. I mean, like
Yeah.
when you want to sell more, you need to understand how to do that, and to do that, you need to understand the patterns of the behavior of your consumers. And AI is very useful in this aspect because, well, first of all, it really speeds up the entire process. It gives you amazing insights into the behavior of your consumers. It gives you amazing advice on how to use those patterns in your advantage. And that's when everything you mentioned kicks in. I mean, like based on data analysis, well, first of all, your business becomes more and more predictable because building out the patterns and turning that into predictions for the future is a very good tool for business in general. But then, yeah, like contextual search, like synonymical search, which again used to be very time consuming for the merchant, has now become easier and more effective. And of course, everything that, well, as I said, everything that is about marketing, that is like text descriptions, images, etc., etc., etc. In this aspect, AI is very useful because it really helps saving time and creating better descriptions, better images than humans can sometimes do. So where before you needed to have like a team of 3 to 4 marketing managers to support your store, you can now do with just one and AI, which is great, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And to on the opposite side, there are obviously development partners, and they also face the trend of AI. Um, how is AI changing the development workflows inside agencies?
Well, for the developers, AI is first of all is a good way to verify your own work. I know that some agencies that are trying to be more creative in terms of using their AI, they are trying to replace the developers' work with AI. That's still not a very good idea because the amount of verification and the amount of like potential risks that you carry to your merchants is still great. But if you use AI like thoroughly, and if you use it as your assistant, that can really expedite the entire development process because you reduce the risks of further bugs on the production. You reduce the risks of potential mismatch and incompatibilities in your own builds. You basically help your quality assurance team to do their work because the AI can now very well highlight the potential areas of your code that can be tricky, that can cause some crashes, etc., etc. So for the developers, it's definitely a very good tool to help the team deliver a very good result instead of relying just on your own like hands and mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, there is a very common statement which basically says AI replacing quality with shortcuts, and then basically we have to deal with that statement, right? As development partners. From your perspective, how can an agency use AI ethically and transparently without compromising the quality?
Well, if we talk about transparency, that's of course being transparent. I mean, I know that for some of our partners, it is important to understand which tools we use. And so it is important for us to communicate the usage of AI to such partners. That way we can, well, basically, again, returning to the communication, basically that way we can address all their concerns from the very beginning and understand whether those partners are okay or not okay with using AI. And of course, since our aim is being flexible with the customers, we need to adapt. If we talk about using AI ethically and efficiently, well, as I said, it's best not to try to replace people with AI and not to replace what people do with AI, but rather use AI as an assistant. As a developer, it's I mean like you can experiment with AI. You can use like I mean lots of developers use Claude and the like, but I would say that a smart one would use that as an assistant to find inspiration, to help resolve to help resolve the problems that you cannot quickly resolve on your own. Well, I mean, like we all have, you know, those
Yeah,
mind blockers
sure.
sometimes. And then, of course, AI can be a verification for what you did, for the code that you wrote. And I would say that's the best way to use it right now. Uh, if we um, if we do this talk in a year's time, maybe it will change. Maybe I would say that, of course, do AI whenever you can, replace people with AI. Who knows? But at this moment, I would say it's still an assistant rather a replacement.
Cool. Very good summary. I mean, you're doing a great job at these kind of like sections. And um, talking about trends and like the future, what do you see the biggest trends will be shaping outsourcing next year?
That's a tricky one because on the one hand, every year we all find those articles about the trends of outsourcing in 2025, 2026, etc. But I would say those trends tend to migrate from year to year. Obviously, the trending of 2026 would be AI. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the previous section. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and of course, since we are becoming more and more customer oriented in every aspect of what we're doing, I would say that personalization is still in the boom. It used to be in the trends in 2024, 2025, and it's still there because we as customers are becoming more and more tricky and we want more attention and we want more care about our likes and thoughts and desires, etc. And so the company that can guess my personality the best will be my choice, of course. So yeah, personalization in every aspect, whether that's B2B or B2C, that's still there. And of course,
Mhm.
that's still what we started off. It's the level of communication, because while AI is a very good assistant, like technology-wise, it creates more and more. I would say psychological discomfort for people because people are concerned that they will be replaced with AI, that they're talking to AI instead of like leaving people. So it's very important, I think, to show the customers that you're still human, that you're still with them, you're still thinking along their way, and so good level of communication. Uh, well, I would say that it's becoming more trend than ever at this stage. And since
Yeah. So, and
outsourcing, yeah, and since outsourcing is about two parties communicating about their desires, plans, um, challenges, and the ways to solve those challenges, I would say that yeah, communication is number one now.
cool. Where do you see Magento and Shopify ecosystems in 5 years, though?
Oh well, who knows? Both Magento and Shopify have earned their place in e-commerce ecosystem to this day. And so I would say that their positions will strengthen up in the areas that they're best with. So if we talk about Magento, that's of course mid to large size businesses planning to evolve further. And so Magento will still be there and still doing their best. I mean, like Adobe is putting a lot of effort now to evolve the ecosystem, to make it better, to make it more effective for the customers, and so that will still be there in like 5 years time. As for Shopify, I mean, they're very dynamic and they're very responsive to the market. And so I really think that will still carry on. I would say that perhaps they will not shift, but rather accommodate more of the like large, mid to large size business needs into their platform and perhaps become more flexible in that aspect. But for small companies, for the startups, I'm sure that Shopify will still be the leader in terms of starting of their business in terms of, again, fast time to market, small like thresholds for the launch, and like bearable costs for the actual maintenance. So yeah, I think that's how it will go.
Thank you so much. And the last one, um, if you were to give one piece of advice for a brand that is looking for a long-term development partner, what would that be?
Do your research. Really, that's the best thing you can do at all times. Make sure that your business goals are supported by your new partner. That your new partner understands your pains, understands what needs to be done in the short and long time perspective, and also make sure that they're good at what they're doing.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Natalia. It was a very fantastic ecosystem level conversation. I don't think I've ever seen such a balanced view on the Magento versus Shopify AI adoption and in general about the ecosystem of agencies with the merchants. I'm sure that the audience who are merchants or agencies will find this conversation extremely valuable. For anyone who wants to check out Amasty, I'll leave the link down below. It's amasty.com. Natalia, thank you so much again for joining the show.
Thanks, Jake, for having me. It's been a pleasure.